He pulled up to the gate, dressed sharp, confident, and calm. And they still told him to wait. Not because he didn't belong, not because he didn't have access, but because in their eyes, a black man behind the wheel of a Bentley at a luxury estate gate must have been lost, or worse, a threat. What they didn't know, he owned a mansion inside, and by the time the truth came out, the entire neighborhood learned a lesson they would never forget. This is a story about judgment, pride, and the quiet kind of power that doesn't need to shout. It just arrives, owns the space, and makes everyone else catch up. Let me take you back to the beginning. It was late spring, and the real estate buzz in this upscale gated community was louder than ever. Hidden Oaks was one of those exclusive neighborhoods nestled on the edge of the city. Long winding drives, private security, million-dollar homes with columns, fountains, and circular driveways. It was the kind of place where homeowners associations worried about the shade of your mulch and the curve of your mailbox. And among the gossiping neighbors, there was one house that had recently sold, the biggest one on the block. A 12,000 square foot, marble-tiled, triple garage estate with a wraparound balcony and a backyard pool that looked like something from a resort. Nobody knew who bought it. The realtors were tight-lipped. The deal was closed off-market. Rumors floated around, maybe a tech CEO, maybe an athlete, maybe a foreign investor. The neighborhood group chats were buzzing. And in the middle of all the speculation, a security guard at the front gate, a man named Roy, mid-50s, not new to the job, saw a Bentley Continental GT roll up one afternoon. Midday. Sunny. Clear view. The car was polished, gleaming. Windows down. And behind the wheel was a black man, mid-30s, wearing a tailored navy suit, dark sunglasses, and a watch that could pay for half a college tuition. Roy stepped out of the booth. "Can I help you?" he asked, already skeptical. The man gave a polite nod. "Sure can. I'm here to get home. Just closed on the property, 88 Golden Hill." Roy frowned. "And your name?" "Marcus Green." He said it with ease, no attitude, no edge. But Roy hesitated. The name wasn't familiar. And his gut, that gut that had failed him more than once before, told him something was off. "You have ID? Proof of address?" Marcus raised an eyebrow. "I have the deed. You want to see it?" Roy crossed his arms. "I'm going to need to verify before I can let you in. You'll have to pull aside." A car pulled up behind Marcus. A white Mercedes. Inside, a woman, blonde, maybe early 40s, leaned out of the window and waved at Roy. He waved back, opened the gate. She drove through without a glance at Marcus. That was the moment Marcus realized this wasn't about policy. It was about perception. He pulled over as instructed. But instead of arguing, instead of escalating, he pulled out his phone and calmly made a call. "Hey, Peter. I'm at the gate. Your guy's not letting me in." Peter was his realtor, a straight shooter, former Navy guy, deeply professional, and known in the area for handling high-value clients with care. 15 minutes later, Peter pulled up in his Audi, stepped out, and immediately confronted Roy. "You've got the owner of 88 Golden Hill sitting in that car. He closed 2 days ago. You should have had the paperwork." Roy stumbled. "We didn't get notification." "You did. I sent it myself." Peter snapped, pulling out a printed copy of the confirmation. "Twice. Check your inbox. Better yet, check your assumptions." Roy went pale. He turned to Marcus. I apologize. Just being careful, you understand." Marcus gave a small smile. "I do understand," he said calmly. "More than you think." The gate opened. The Bentley glided in. No drama. No revenge speech. Just silence and 400 horses rolling down the pristine road toward a house that, until that moment, people assumed someone like him could never own. But that was just the start. See, Marcus didn't just buy the house. He became part of the community. And Hidden Oaks wasn't ready for someone like him. Marcus Green was not new to wealth. He was a former software engineer who sold a health tech startup for $38 million. Grew up in Atlanta. Raised by a single mother who worked 2 jobs. Earned everything with focus, discipline, and genius. He didn't flash his wealth, but he wasn't afraid to live well either. His house was the nicest in the community. Tastefully furnished. a balance of modern design and timeless comfort. He had a Steinway grand in the front hall and bookshelves that held everything from Baldwin to Bezos. And yet, despite his money, manners, and success, people treated him like an outsider. Neighbors didn't say hello. Kids stared. Some folks whispered about the Bentley always in the driveway or the music they claimed they could hear on weekends, even though it was never loud. And then came the HOA letters. First, it was a complaint about his landscaping. Grass too long. It wasn't. Then a notice about excessive visitors. His brother and sister had come to stay for the weekend. Then a warning about a vehicle parked overnight. It was his second car, fully registered, neatly parked in his own driveway. He never responded with anger. Instead, Marcus did something better. He got involved. He showed up to the HOA meeting. Quiet suit, leather notebook. He introduced himself formally. "Hi, I'm Marcus Green, homeowner at 88 Golden Hill. Just wanted to meet some neighbors and learn more about how we manage this community." People were polite, but stiff, uncomfortable. The HOA president, a man named Charles who looked like he stepped off a yacht club brochure, welcomed Marcus with a tone that said, "Don't stay too long." Over the next few months, Marcus kept showing up. He learned the rules inside and out. He asked thoughtful questions, brought snacks to meetings, helped sponsor a local park cleanup. And slowly, even the coldest people started to thaw. Not because he kissed up, but because he made himself undeniable. When a storm knocked out power for 2 days, Marcus used a backup generator to keep his neighbors' fridges running, no charge. When a kid on the block crashed his bike and needed a ride home, Marcus was the one who pulled over and helped. When a local teacher mentioned she couldn't afford new science supplies, Marcus donated anonymously, and she got everything on her wish list within a week. And still, some people whispered. Still, some people clutched their purses a little tighter when he passed. And that's why what happened next made such an impact. It was the 4th of July. The HOA always threw a neighborhood party, grilling, decorations, the usual. But this year, the budget was tight. Vendors had backed out. The party was going to be small. That's when Marcus stepped up. He offered to host it, at his home, free of charge. At first, people were skeptical, but the board accepted. The day arrived, and people showed up slowly, cautiously. And what they saw was stunning. Marcus's backyard was set up like a summer paradise. Grilled food catered from the best barbecue joint in the city. A live jazz band softly playing. Lawn games. Custom desserts. Decorations with red, white, and blue lights glowing gently along the paths. No arrogance. No flash. Just class. People were amazed. They ate. They danced. They mingled. And slowly, walls came down. Neighbors started having real conversations with Marcus. They asked about his work, his story. Some even apologized for how cold they'd been. Kids ran around the yard laughing. The evening ended with a small fireworks display, visible from every backyard. It was, hands down, the best party the neighborhood had ever had. And the next morning, that same security guard, Roy, the one who had stopped Marcus at the gate, came by the house with a cup of coffee and said, "Mr. Green, I owe you more than an apology. You showed all of us something last night, and I'll never forget it." Marcus shook his hand. "No hard feelings," he said. "Growth comes from moments like that." From then on, everything changed. People waved when they saw him. The HOA stopped sending nonsense letters. Kids knocked on his door asking if he'd come play basketball at the park. He even got invited to join the HOA board, which he respectfully declined, preferring to stay active in his own quiet way. But what stuck with everyone, what changed them, was how he handled it all. He didn't fight with anger. He didn't shrink to be accepted. He simply lived in the space he owned, with dignity, generosity, and strength. And when someone tried to block him at the gate, literally or figuratively, he didn't yell or bang on the door. He bought the house behind it, and then opened that door for others. So the next time someone tells you what you can't do, or who you can't be, or where you don't belong, remember this. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Just keep building, keep showing up, and let your life speak so loudly, they have no choice but to listen. If you found this story powerful or inspiring, hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. It helps the channel grow and lets me share more real stories that matter. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.